those that you just came in, my name is Melina Olmo. I am the president of the National Conference of Puerto Rican Women for Washington, D.C. I've been president for about 2 years, just a little over 2 years. And I'm excited to be here because NACOPRW was founded in 1972, and it still stands as the only national-based organization for Puerto Rican women since the 70s. So I guess no one else has stepped up. It's wonderful. We started advocating for women, and over time, as the chapters grew and expanded through New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Indiana, San Diego, we've also expanded the kind of work that we do, but always in mind with advocating for women.
Hey, Melina, sorry I'm late.
Oh, no, we just so I guess I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing in Washington, D.C. and what we've done since Hurricane Maria. I became president 2 months, actually 4 months shy of everything that was happening with the fiscal crisis in Puerto Rico. So when they asked me to become president, I was like, you know what, this is going to be great. This is going to be communicating with women, social events. And then the fiscal crisis came, and I found myself, okay, now I'm in DC. So I live on Capitol Hill, so I was literally a few blocks from Congress. So it's like, oh, Melina, you're there, what's going on? So that completely changed the plans that I have for NACOPRW, which is great. Because although I've been living in DC for a while, it opened up my eyes to advocacy. My work is international conservation and working with refugees. I wasn't really direct, never worked at advocacy or anything directly linked to the Latino community. I would volunteer, but not really learn about what was going on. We have a great group of women in DC. They're all experts in their own different fields, very different industries. And we have been working together after the hurricane to advocate for Puerto Rico, either through our own initiatives or together. We sponsored a series of talks on the Hill with the Medicaid Cliff, and we partnered with other Puerto Rican organizations. We like building relationships and alliances. I think it's very important. That was for the Medicaid Cliff before the Promesa came in. Afterwards, after the hurricane immediately, we created a concert at Gala Theater, one of the only Latino theaters in Washington, D.C. And we decided that everyone was helping. I think everyone, even people around the world, were trying to help Puerto Rico. But we didn't want to do something just a happy hour or just a drive. We wanted to give something also back to the community because everyone was we were all exhausted. So we built this concert at the theater with a potpourri of the different genres of Puerto Rican music. And that was amazing. I've been told I was putting it together. So, when you put something together, you don't get to enjoy it. And so we raised about $20,000, and we gave all that to local nonprofits in Puerto Rico that, by coincidence, had women leadership in them, and they're still giving back to the community. We also, right after that, in October, we were the first sponsors, and one of our board members from the DC chapter put together the Diaspora Summit in Washington, D.C., the very first one. We had been planning it, but after the hurricane, we're like, no, let's switch the topic, and post-Maria implementations. We went from advocacy to philanthropy to the private investment sector to just educate people what's going on. We're not going to tell you what to do, but we're going to educate you on all the facts, what's going on, and then give you access if you want to take action or do something. So that's what we're about. Right now, we also have scholarships. So the different thing that I wanted to bring to this scholarship that we give every year, that was started by one of the founding members, is that the scholarships that we give to high school girls graduate that are Latina from DC metro area, is that we don't have a high GPA requirement. Our GPA is 2.5. We look at your volunteer work, and we have an essay and questions. The reason we do that is, as said, we advocate for Latinas and because we're all inclusive, and Puerto Ricanas. I've worked with kids before. If you have the perfect balanced home environment and your job is to study, you're always going to do well. because you have everything perfect. But when you have to work to help your family, when you have to babysit because your mom and dad or your single parent home has to work 2 jobs or maybe sometimes 2.5 jobs just to put food on the table. You live in a place where you have to walk to take the bus to school. The environment, your studies are going to go down. It's just a lot of external factors. They're a teenager. So we wanted to make sure that this scholarship is going to girls that are trying their best, and you can see from their progress and from their letters of recommendation and in their own work what they want to do with their lives in college. We want them to earn it and feel like there's someone that believes in them. To us, it's really important to say, like, you don't need to have the perfect GPA. Even if you don't have a perfect GPA, if you see potential, you're going to get this scholarship. And it's not a lot of money, but when you earn something, it makes such a big impact in your life that I think it has a greater impact if you earn something, even though you're not the best student, than when you have a 4-point GPA and you sort of expect, well, I'll get into these schools because I was on the dean's list and whatnot. So our chapter in DC is all about being inclusive and connecting people. We try to connect the community to all the resources. We build alliances and always promoting the Puerto Rican woman. I try to put a Boricua in every single panel that I get invited to. Where are my Boricuas? They are. And try to also pull people from behind the scenes that aren't always necessarily in the spotlight. This past March, we had we did an event for Women's History Month. It was Latinas in Tech and in STEM. And I had one of the speakers who's a NACOPRW member. And it was really great because she's a coder. I'm not an IT person. And she does her work. They're a software engineer, 13 years experience. Introvert, doesn't go out. I'm like, can you please come and speak? Because we need Latinas in technology to come out. So she came out. The event was with the FCC Commissioner Rosa Warsaw. It was the VP of Comcast were there. And so her boss came, some colleagues came, and to have her speak about her experience as a woman in the field, all of a sudden doors open for her. Not another job, but she starts getting invited to company meetings and diversity, and it opens doors to her career, which is, I think, the point, promoting from within and giving a chance to those women that aren't necessarily in the spotlight to help them bring up emerging leaders. So that's what we're about. I don't know if you guys have questions or. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies, I apologize for being tardy. I am Michelle Centeno, and I am the national president for NACOPRW. So I don't know if Melina had explained that we have right now 8 chapters nationally. I was formerly the president of the New York chapter from 2003 through 2007. Then I came back in and became president again from 2012 until April of this year. Now I am the president nationally. We have chapters in New York, Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., tri-state area, Northern Illinois, Chicago. And right now, the new president of the New York chapter just walked in, Zenaida Rodriguez. We started 44 years ago in New York and in DC, the NACOPRW chapters. We've had some awesome women come out of the NACOPRW, both here in New York, all of them, but mainly in DC and New York. Carmen Delgado Porto, you need to Google her. Very inspirational, very influential Puerto Rican woman, and she was born in Puerto Rico. Carmen Delgado Porto, B-O-T-A-W. She was one of the most influential Puerto Rican women throughout the United States. She met with all of the presidents. They all acknowledged her. And she was a huge woman advocate. She recently passed away, unfortunately, 2 years ago. Another strong advocate was Alice Cardona. She was here in New York. She was under Governor Mario Cuomo. She was the assistant director for the women's office. Can't think of the word right now. But she also traveled a lot. There was a women's group that went to China some years ago, and she was part of that group that went. Then there were other women that, it's just the list is long. All right, so this is I'm going to let her speak a bit. Her name is Zenaida Rodriguez. She's now the new New York chapter president.
Hi. First and foremost, I'm sorry I'm late. There's so many things on the schedule. I guess it's Friday here in New York City, and it's kind of crazy trying to get here. But other than that, I'm so happy to be here. Happy to addressing you as the new president of the New York chapter for NACOPRW, the National Conference of Puerto Rican Women. It is a pride for me to head this, and I thank Michelle, who actually recruited me for many, many months. And I'm like, let me think about it, because sometimes you get busy with your own real world that you forget about that you always have to kind of balance your life and balance your social life with bringing people up and bringing our culture up. And so that's why I took the position, because I am at the point in my life right now where everything that I have done in my career, everything I have done as a Puerto Rican, as a Latina, I'd like to empower others to do the same. I see somebody in here that I know, and I have to point her out, because this past year, I went back and furthered my education and got my master's in public affairs and public administration, and so did somebody else here. And I say that to say that it wasn't an easy thing to do when you're trying to raise children and you're trying to have a position in public administration that takes up most of your time. And so NACOPRW was brought to me many years ago through Michelle, who has done an excellent job at taking it to the next level and empowering women on how you can contribute back to society as Latinas. And as you know, it's a very difficult position for us to have. I currently work, my real job is working at the MTA, and I have to say that I'm one of the highest Latinas there. And there's like very little percentage. It's like 18% out of 50,000 employees that we have at the MTA. And it's a struggle, and it's a disappointment when you go to meetings, when you go to equal employment opportunity meetings, and they say that there are no Latinas that can represent us at an executive level. So I say that to say that each and every one of you are needed to be in those positions and make yourself visible. And through NACOPRW is one of the goals and the missions that we have to empower and to assist those Latinas that are necessary to understand how to get there. So Michelle is national, and my being the New York, I believe that it's one of the most powerful chapters that we have, and Michelle can attest to that because she did the 2 terms. I see the vision that in the next couple of years, we are going to be putting series together to ensure that the Latinas understand what's out there, okay, and to create a benchmark as to where we are today. Everything that has happened in Puerto Rico has, I believe, is not a coincidence. I believe that it's a misfortune, what has happened to us, but out of every misfortune, something good comes out, and it only comes out if we do something about it.
Collaboratively.
Yes. So I think that now is the time, to join organizations such as ours. Doesn't have to be NACOPRW, but it could be NACOPRW. I mean, I think, how many organizations do you have out there that kind of focus on just us? And that's what we have to look at. So, am I talking too much? Because
No.
you're national.
That's
Go.
okay. All right, so I just wanted to let you know that I work in government, city government also. I started out first with the New York State Dormitory Authority in 1999. I was the only Puerto Rican female of my level from 1999 through 2006. And since I left there, they have not replaced me with any Hispanic person at all. And there have been several who have applied and have not been hired. And I was the most respected Puerto Rican female to kick ass in the, she knows, at the dormitory authority and allowed. I was dubbed MC Trouble. From there, I was approached by the New York City Comptroller's Office under William Thompson's administration to do outreach and to handle specialized investigations on prevailing wage. And what prevailing wage means is when an agency like this, CUNY, is public works. So if they hire a contractor to paint this room, that contractor is obligated to pay the painter, the employees, $65 an hour to paint this room. It's not minimum wage. Lots of times these contractors do not inform the employees how much they're supposed to get paid. They're obligated to pay them. That's when I come in and enforce it, collect the money, and ensure that those exploited workers receive the entire amount of money. Sometimes the contractors, we handle the civil end of it. We find that there's criminal charges involved, then we join forces with the DA's office or the Attorney General's office to go, to pursue that exploitation, what was done. So I was there from 2006 until just now, December of 2017. The Mayor's Office, Department of Citywide Administrative Services, called me and offered me a position. I am now the Senior Labor Policy Advisor for Office of Contracts Procurement. So, and again, the only Puerto Rican ever to hold that position. When I was in the Comptroller's Office, the same thing. And they have yet to replace me there as well, because they can't find anyone so far that's qualified with my credentials. So these are the type of things that we're looking to educate our women, our students, females. They don't know about the careers that are out there, the opportunities that are out there. While I was president of NACOPRW over the years, we started out with $1,000 each scholarship awards. We've upgraded it to $1,500 a year per female student, but the criteria is that she has to be of Puerto Rican descent, going from high school to college or in college, to finish. And we've been pretty good. We awarded about $40,000 scholarship awards over the years. Unfortunately, because of the hurricane situation, we had to put that on hold, but hopefully the new president will carry on the torch from there. Anyone have any questions at all?
Hi, I'm Lorena Franco. I am from Puerto Rico. I came to the States 6 years ago to study, and I've been in New York 2 years working as an economist, focusing on Latin America. Coming in, I came into finance, working in Wall Street, and just a lot of commonalities of what I'm hearing. So on the trading floor, I was the only women/Hispanic, and in a very predominantly white male environment. I was very depressed. There wasn't any support. And that's not my situation, that's also situations Asian American women or women, but there aren't many of us, right? Donde está la Latina? It's not because, we're not prepared. There's also, I believe, also the legacy. I think that's something. So how can, is there a small coalition within, women who are working in tech, women who are working in finance, where it might not be a lot of us, or maybe there is, but how can we shape the system so that we can, the ones that were in there, open the door so that others can come in and have that transition be easier.
There is a women's group in tech. I'd have to get back to you. Later on, you can give me your contact information. But yeah, there is a movement to try to get more recognition, more respect on what our skills are and what we are capable of doing, and get them to say, okay, yeah, for instance, where I am, each position that I had, like in the beginning when I was at the State Dormitory Authority, at first they were skeptical of me, and I was, like I said, I hit the floor running. I was doing investigations, and I uncovered fraud, corruption, and they were stunned because the executive level actually respected what I uncovered and changed the whole system around. Because when I first went there, they were like, what does she know and everything? They were laughing behind their hands. I became, like I said, the most respected Puerto Rican female in that agency. And that took me on. Right now, where I am, well, in each agency that I was in. Right now, I report to the Deputy Commissioner, Sida Ibrick, wonderful woman, and she backs me 100%. And that's so great to be able to work for someone of that level. Even the commissioner herself, Lisa Camillo, they back me 100% on everything that I do, as long as it's, correct.
But let me just intercede there. I think that Michelle gives the standpoint of earning the respect, okay, as a professional, as the experience that you have moving forward. She has been there in that position, and you're absolutely right. It is not easy, and it's pretty frustrating when you get a position like that, and all of a sudden, people are looking at you and they're telling you, I've been there. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Is there a solution? Yes, there is a solution to that. Number one, there are mentoring programs, okay, and there are mentoring programs that have increased as an extension of the university that you go to, an extension of whatever organization, and I'm going to say NACOPRW, okay, because we plan on putting a mentoring program together to be able to get into these positions, because right now what's happening is there's a succession planning in place, okay, and you have to be there at the right time in order to take advantage of that. Don't get frustrated. Get frustrated at home. Like I tell my daughter, I said, somebody frustrates you at work, don't cry.
Don't
be
give them
strong.
that satisfaction.
Run to the bathroom, do whatever you got to do, but you know what? Stay strong, okay, because they try to break you.
Mm-hmm.
But mentoring program components teach you all of that. And it doesn't really have to be a program in itself. It could be a person. When you get in, there could be that one person that is helping you around that can actually, that you don't even have to ask the direct questions to, but can actually observe and know how that person works regardless of what race you're in. Okay. So those are two. But you have to, at some point in your life, you're going to look back and you're going to say, wow, I did all of this. Okay, I can say what I want. I can do what I do, right? Michelle, right? Because it's very, fraud in the public sector is a very serious thing, So people go now to Michelle for advice. Okay. What I do also is I work in the Department of Diversity and Civil Rights for the MTA. And that in itself is not just EEO investigations as to what the other agencies are mandated to comply with, but also the small business program. And so we get a lot of resentment from MTA staff within itself because it's a minority program. Okay, I've been there 18 years, and I'm surprised that I've been there 18 years, but I made it that far because I had mentors in place. I had mentors that were positive. I had mentors that would try to break me down and try to make me lose my job. But you know what? I said, no, you're not going to do this. I'm going to learn from you, and I know exactly what I'm not going to do when it comes. Okay, and times were hard because I'm the only, I think I'm the only Hispanic in that agency, female Hispanic. And again, it's not easy. So look at the mentorships that are out there. It's a huge thing. that is happening now. NACOPRW is going to be doing mentorship programs, but also look within yourselves. Who, bless you, who in your professional position or who in your education, whether it's a professor, whether it's, you know, somebody that you've known for so long in your neighborhood that has risen up the professional ranks, that can also be your mentor. You know, I always believe there's never just one mentor to a professional career. There are several.
See, here in New York, unfortunately, she passed away in 2011. Alice Cardona, I mentioned her before. She was born and raised here she was born in 1930, Puerto Rican parents. And she was a tremendous mentor to all Puerto Rican women and others, any female, didn't matter what their background was. She always said presente. She never said, you have any kind of question whatsoever, she would always say presente, give you advice, let you know which way to steer you and so on. So we are taking up what she left a legacy, so we're paying it forward.
So for Washington, D.C., that's where I'm based. We focus on, it's sort of like, it's different because D.C. is small, and a lot of the work is advocacy, but there's also a lot of advocacy for women, across Latina women. We build alliances, and actually we just won a scholarship, a grant, not a scholarship, a grant from the Coca-Cola Foundation. And we're going to be doing a workshop on social enterprise for Latinas this July. Hopefully getting 50 women from the DC metro area. In mentorship, you build your board, as they say. I'm sure you know that you build your board, but also it's really important to have sponsorship. You need someone, male or female, it doesn't matter, to say, hey, Lorena, she's one of the best traders on the floor. This specific client, put Lorena in there. Like, you need to find that one person that will not just, maybe they're not gonna be your mentor to give you advice, but they're gonna advocate for you. And it could be someone within your firm. If you can go, if you find there are a lot of now all these with technology, a lot of like mentoring programs online, specific to industries. There's so many of them, and you go, and if you find someone, the world is such a small world, but I get it. Actually, not even go to your firm right now. The previous panel before lunch break, I was at the entrepreneurship panel, which is great. There were 2 women there, but vast majority of the audience were men, and I'm like, where are the women here? Yesterday, I think it was Wednesday, there was a panel in DC on sort of like blockchain and technology for Puerto Rico. So I went on Wednesday morning, and again, 98% men. So we want to advocate for women to be in diverse industries, but when you find someone to like, not just mentor you, but to sponsor and advocate for you and say, hey, Lorena is an awesome trader. She can not only trade, maybe she can teach a class or explain how the system works. And it's sort of like build from there, because if it doesn't exist, you build it, and you just get your name out there. I think that's one of the other ways to do things. That's how I've learned in DC. I came from a very small town. Ended up I wanted to go study international relations, went to American University, didn't know anyone there. I had to call my mom and say, Mom, can you please send me like pillows and towels and sheets, because DC back then was way overpriced. I mean, you're talking about $200 for bedding set. And I'm like, no. There were no Walmart, there was no Target, there's nothing around there. So I've learned you have to build yourself. And it's hard when you don't find someone akin to you. But I think that you are Lorena, and you just go for it. Just believe in yourself. Eventually you'll find people, but even if the person is not Latino, it's not Puerto Rican, even if it's a male, have someone that believes in you and advocate for you. Because once you're at the top, like what happened with the lady at the Latina STEM, once they see you up there, that just opens doors, because others will see, oh my God, look what she's done, and they acknowledge and recognize you. So I think sponsorship is really good. if you can sponsor another Latina, another Puerto Rican, in any way, like advocate for them and help them, that's great. Just keep building up. There's no reason why we're up this. I always believe in pulling up emerging leaders. I'm like, just pull everyone up and you will just keep getting higher. So
Yes.
So Michelle just said that you guys put in on hold the scholarships.
Well, for the hurricane, for 2017, we didn't do it.
Yeah, but so what are you guys doing? Are you creating or have you created a group to either, number one, help the Latinas in the Puerto Rican women in the diaspora, or to create groups to help the rebuild of Puerto Rico?
Yes, we have been involved in that. In fact, it came to my attention through one of the members of NACOPRW. She's what is Sandra Rivera? She works for she's a child social worker. Anyway, it came to her attention, this woman who's displaced, a Puerto Rican woman that was displaced due to the hurricane. She has 3 children, and so they were homeless. So she called me up immediately to tell me, how can we help her? And I just found out that they finally got her an apartment. She got an apartment in the Bronx. She wound up in the Bronx when she first came in from Puerto Rico, and they were staying with an aunt who had only 1 bedroom. So they were all squished into this apartment until they were able to get out of there, and they wound up, they sent her to a homeless shelter in Brooklyn, in Flatbush. But the children were going to school in the Bronx, South Bronx, which was crazy. But she had to deal with that until now. She had to go back to Puerto Rico to get a Section H voucher, had to leave her children here. She came back. She's now successfully in an apartment. We've helped to get, I put the word out, and we got them clothing and things that they needed to help them. The youngest daughter, who is very depressed, she's 15. There's an organization here in Spanish Harlem, I can't remember the name of it, but she's into playing guitar. So she goes every Saturday, and we pay for that in order for her to, build up her skills in that. Just recently came to my attention of a young man who's displaced. He's 20 years old. He's staying right now at the Covenant House. And he's working in Brooklyn at, what is that food store? I can't think of the name of it. No. Well, anyway, he's not happy. And so they called me and asked me if there was any way I can assist them. And actually, there is a person that I just spoke to. Her name is Rose Rodriguez, another Boricua, who works in the governor's office. And her position right now is to help people who are displaced from Puerto Rico. So I spoke to her. She told me to send to her his resume and stuff like that. And she'll see what they can do to help him to get a better position.
So let's talk about, an answer to your question also, that's on the organizational side, okay? Again, I'm like new, okay, like really new to the chapter with bringing new initiatives in, but my background also with the MTA, what we did recently is we did a huge campaign for all of the agencies that were MTA agency-wide. So when you look at MTA, you look at Bridges and Tunnels, Long Island Railroad, Metro North, headquarters, New York City Transit, Bus, all those agencies. And Yvette, my colleague, is here, and she can attest to that because we did a massive drive on bringing in the needs that, a big campaign on bringing in water and clothing and everything else. And we sent it through the governor's office. Most of you know that the governor has done quite a bit for Puerto Rico. I'm sure that you have looked in the news and, as a matter of fact, he's actually been the one that has actually done the most out of all governors throughout the United States, and to include the president, okay? And so I went to a press conference that he had in Somos not too long ago, and so there is a group that he has formed through the lieutenant governor that is actually putting together an apprentice program that will be in Puerto Rico, stationed in Puerto Rico for those Puerto Rican citizens that want to learn how to grow back their homes, they're actually going to be sending unionized employees to go down there. You're familiar with it?
Yes, for New York City District Council.
Oh,
There you go.
you know Tamara.
There you go.
You know Tamara. You're good friends.
So those types of programs, I would truly suggest that, you know, this is a passion that we all have, that you jump on board and see how you can help with those types of programs, because we are also going to be working with them in order to help Puerto Rico.
Maria Roman, who's back there in the corner, she's also she's also a NACOPRW member and officer within NACOPRW.
Proud.
She's also involved with Comité Noviembre, which is a Puerto Rican organization comprised of various different Puerto Rican not-for-profits. And so they, every year for 12 years, have gone to Puerto Rico. Every August for about 9 days, they do a cultural tour. But as a result of the hurricane, they're now doing their second humanitarian mission this August. I'm going as well. And they're going to be doing, helping to renovate, rebuild a house. We're going to go to our juntas to plant coffee bean seeds because they were badly affected by the hurricane. I don't know, what else is on the agenda for the mission?
Well, we're trying to cover as many towns that don't have light, electricity, water. That, you know, because we have covered like 20 towns when we went in December. We're trying to cover, I think, a lot of more towns when we go in August. Like bringing, you know, because it's not about food anymore and water. It's a lot of mental health issues right now, and we need to be there to find ways of supporting them. So that's what, you know, the second phase of this mission.
Maria also, I'm sorry to cut you off. Maria, Puerto Rican, worked for 5 different New York State governors consecutively. So this is an example of how Puerto Rican females have accomplished themselves. And she did very well for herself.
She's still doing it.
Yeah, she is.
If that is a national, on the national program, because I'm from Philadelphia, I'm from New York, I was actually hoping to see the
Yeah, she was supposed to come here today, but she was, her job, she's also has a great job. They're sending her to Stockholm and Norway. So that's why that was a last moment thing. But her name is Amaris Hernandez. That's another great mentor. Great job.
Can we do this? Can we do this? Because I'm very interested. I want to know who's in the room.
Yeah, I was going to say
I want to know who's in the room. So
Can we
if
start
you
from
can
here?
just start over here and just introduce yourself and what you do, okay? We would love to know. We got like a little 60-second introduction. How about that?
My name is Sasha Morales. What do I do right now? I'm an SEO specialist. I work in an advertisement agency here in New York, but I work from home. I live in Philadelphia. I have been in the United States for 11 years now, from Carolina, and definitely want to do something for my island, for my people. You know, I used to work in the rural area when I was in Puerto Rico, and want to find ways to help. You know, not only benefit myself from the programs like you have, but also through your programs and through your empowerment, empower the people as well.
Great. Great, thank you.
Yes.
Hi. I'm Lorena Franco. I'm currently in New York working as an economist, specifically focusing on Latin America, so I'm not a trader anymore. And on my, I guess, personal life, I am focused on economic development. So I took courses to better understand small startup medium enterprises in Puerto Rico from the University of Mayagüez. And now I'm going off to Barcelona to do my master's in economic development this September. So I'm looking for ways into also just getting into the economic development there in the island with entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Hernandez, and I'm a research associate at the Centro for Puerto Rican Studies, and my focus is educational policy. I'm interested in writing an article on what's happened to the teachers who left Puerto Rico and into the United States. I haven't been able to find much information, so if anybody knows anybody, that would be great. And I'm actually looking for a job. This position is end in August, so. Awesome.
There you
What
go.
kind of jobs are you looking for?
Well, my background is bilingual ed, special ed, but I also like a challenge, so I'm
Okay. Joanna?
My name is Joanna Maria Cifredo. I'm the Media Relations Manager for GLSEN. We're the leading education organization working on LGBTQ issues in K-12 schools. I'm also a camp counselor at Camp Aranude. I just moved here a few months ago from Washington, D.C., where I was a policy analyst for racial and economic justice in the Obama years. I did a lot of immigration and criminal justice work, and I'm currently working to open up a camp for Puerto Rican children in the Diaspora in Puerto Rico.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Hi, my name is.
Why we got the rule?
All right, go. All right,
Yeah.
Marilyn,
We're hot over here, right?
go ahead, Marilyn.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Figueroa. I was born in Bronx, New York, moved to Miami when I was 10, and moved to DC a year and a half ago. So like I'm dabbling in a lot of areas that a lot of you are from. Like I mentioned, I've been in DC for a year and a half, but I graduated from Florida International University with a degree in Women and Gender Studies. I worked in the Office of Federal Relations. That's what brought me to DC for FIU. And currently I'm freelancing. I'm kind of working on a lot of creative endeavors. I came to this conference because I'm working on a documentary about Puerto Rico. I just feel very strongly that there's a need for stories, not only from the island, but stateside as well, to be told, and to be told honestly, and to be told in a way that that we're addressing the issues that are just prevalent in Puerto Rico and stateside.
So your documentary is what type of a spin? I mean, there's so much to talk about.
So my close friend that I'm working with right now, that's why we're here. We're researching. We're trying to figure out what is the best way to tell these stories. My mom is also moving to San Juan in 2 weeks. So she's a manager at Home Depot. So I've actually never been to the island. And so I'll be visiting in July for the first time. And that's when we'll be start filming. So that's what I'm working on.
Good. Taylor?
Anything that we could do to help?
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Julia Christel. I'm a student at the University of Technology. I have recently filled out the application with the governor from University of School. I am not
That's okay, you're adopted.
So I am here today to get more information from people. If I'm selected to go in June, that will be more about the to help us.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a lot of mosquito repellent.
Hi, I'm Gloria Siciliana with Centro, Puerto Rico, but it's been 2 weeks since being born. My mom came back. So I was raised in New York. And I see my grandmother go every summer, and my sisters every summer, so I could see progress. And I was about 13 years old. And so these are just anxious. Porque vivo en mi esposo, que fue I'm walking down para la 15 and car goes by and they yell, New Yorkina! And you could have just told me you were. It was like, I was so hurt. I was like, so hurt. I said, come to board here, New Yorkina! So I felt early on the separation.
Yeah, wow.
Puerto Rico, New York, Puerto Rican,
Yeah, they don't, I learned that from when I went there right after 9/11. And this guy told me, he says, you're not recognized as Puerto Rican. You're not a true Puerto Rican. I says, what are you talking about? That really hurts a lot. Because we take such great pride in our roots, and they themselves are telling us, although now it's a different story altogether, now they need us. So now Now they have a different spin on
We
it.
need each other.
Yes.
Well, it's a different life. We know the culture, you know, it's a different life in Puerto Rico than versus the city here, so understandable. Don't take it, I'm from Mayagüez, you know.
Well, like, so I learned, you know, little by little, and when I was in high school, my sister joined me on my West Park. And that's when I started to learn more about Rico history, and I got to college, and we were part of that demonstration that we went to studies there, and studies about this, studies about it. We had to demonstrate, we had to provide, we had to take over the whole thing. You know, you just went on through that. Anywhere I was special teacher, retired, required for that. And, you know, I came here to learn more. Very, very involved with the United Federation. Their AFC. So we do a lot of education and uses so I came to the summit just before this. So then I got to summit. So that's time here. I'm also going to get onto French on the They told me we have someone in Puerto Rico, and it's like 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You know, thank God, but it's like one reporter, nobody else has it. Every once in a while, CNN does stuff. So when I come here, I learn so much more.
That's good. Have you heard of Principal Luis Torres from the Bronx? I'm very proud of him, and actually I helped to mentor him. And that was back in 2006, I want to say. I was at Gracie Mansion for some event, and he was there, and I was introduced to him. And he was a school teacher in the Bronx, and he told me that he wanted to be a principal. He aspired to be a principal. And so then when Bloomberg was elected, he had started a program for principals, a certain type of leadership in the principal level. So he took that course, and he graduated. I was there. But he was very frustrated. He used to call me out of frustration because he had very high, scored very high. But he was frustrated because he wasn't being offered a school in the Bronx. That's what he wanted, the Bronx. He didn't want anywhere else. And I kept telling him, be patient. God always has a reason for everything. And sure enough, he got the school that he wanted. And I have to say, I'm extremely proud of him. He's done such a phenomenal job that I want to say 2-3 years ago, President Obama recognized him, selected him and one other principal in another state as one of the top achieving principals nationally. And he's done so great. He got a grant to do.
With Apple, is he the one who, I'm sorry to interrupt, but was he the one who got a grant with Apple to get?
He's getting grants all over the place. He's doing.
I used to work for Apple, and I went to school.
Okay, yeah.
And he handed out iPads, and so all the teachers who started crying because they've never had any of that before.
Yeah. And he got a grant to do a production of Lion King using the kids, and I went. You had to. Oh my God, it was just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. So these are the type of things that we look to do to help each other. And I wanted to take a moment to say Rose Rodriguez is here. She works for the Governor's Office, Department of Labor. She's the one who I mentioned before that is helping displaced families from Puerto Rico. And then Anna Carbonell she was an anchor woman for NBC. She's retired now. So these are very prominent Puerto Rican females who have accomplished.
Anna never retired.
They have achieved so much, accomplished so much.
So let's finish going around the room
Yes.
because it's important to know who's in.
Hi, my name is Zenaida. I work for the MTA, and I'm in advance. Both of my parents are from Puerto Rico, and they came here and raised 8 children. And I'm just involved in whatever I can get involved in. Zenaida dragged me all over the place, so wherever I need to roll up my sleeves and get down and dirty, I do it. And especially if it's helping people in need,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zenaida. I'm transitioning from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs to the Commission of Human Rights. Together with a group of friends, we co-founded the Diaspora Puerto Rico, which is an organization that tries to connect the Puerto Ricans that have come from Puerto Rico due to Hurricane Maria with different organizations that are providing services. One of the things that I would like to do is invite you all to a Mother's Day event that we have this Sunday. For mothers that have been displaced, one of the things that we have come across is that the majority of the families that have come are single mothers, and we want to make sure that they're able to connect with people that can inspire them, for them to know that there's people here that want them to do their best and to be able to come out of their situation. So thank you all for having me.
Send me some information on it if you see me afterwards and put some information. Thank you.
Rose, you next.
It's going to be at Casabe. You're like.
Oh, Casabe House, yeah.
Casabe House.
I'm not mom, I would like to volunteer.
Oh, yes. I'll be here. You can talk.
Rose, you next.
So my name is Rose Rodriguez, and I'm gonna give you my business card, so that with those families, if you have a link to me, then maybe you can follow up with them and see how can get employed. Skills training and employment, okay? But then they'll be self-sufficient, independent, and not have to pay. So anyway, so I'm Rose Rodriguez, and I started in government right after college, working to empower the Puerto Rican Latino. I grew up in the South Bronx. My mom still lives in the same building that I was raised.
De aquí no me mudan.
And I continue to be a part of Casita Maria, my second home. As you know, in the 70s in the South Bronx, it was a very hard time for many of us and family members due to circumstances. Places like Casita Maria and a lot of non-profits are coming up following them. So, NACOPRW have been an oasis for many of us growing up in the 70s. It was no stranger that instead of going to Wall Street and creating a career there, that I ended up joining government and served as one of the youngest cabinet members for America. And my dear friend over there, Maria Roman, was like a mentor and a nurturer, because she was already in government, probably 2 governors prior to Mario Olmo. And now I go in, and she takes me under her wing. I'm in the cabinet, but she's the one that really took me around and sort of served as a mentor and a guide to help me do the work that I needed to do to empower Latino community. And the way I did it with Mario Olmo was working in nonprofit and helping, making sure that the budget included them in there. And since then, Maria knows this, we were trying to create an office in of New York State because of the migration and the connection. So that we're talking 30 years later about Puerto Rico and what we're doing. There was always the relationship that we didn't need a crisis to bring us together. And 30 years later, under this governor, Governor Cuomo, we created an office in Puerto Rico a few years ago. It was supposed to be for trade and tourism, which still is, to help Puerto Rico bring its products to New York. We take our products to Puerto Rico, yes, and and all of that. And then we had Hurricane Maria, and now the office has turned into a relief and recovery effort. And my government has been at the forefront and taken strong leadership in doing many initiatives with Puerto Rico. I just got back last night. I was there 2 weeks ago. The latest initiative is boots on the ground, helping build houses. The problem with Puerto Rico is that it doesn't have the workforce there because a lot of people left for the construction trade area, and it doesn't have the supplies for you to be able to fix your ceilings, regular roofs, and so forth. So the governor sent an assessment, 30 people, and we're assessing it. We're going to be dealing with organized labor and construction. Michelle, they say hi. They know Michelle, so and I was with them. But I want to thank all of you for the work that you're doing on behalf of Puerto Rico, that your presence here is indicative that, we have a community and a strong group of people. I just came from the elected officials engagement, and they had New Jersey, Orlando. So we're all in it together, and I think under your leadership, because of NACOPRW and you're national now, that I think the next step that people were talking about is how we bring all the states together under one umbrella for a very forceful effort towards Puerto Rico, because I think it's going beyond relief and recovery, but it's also
in the fate of Puerto Rico.
That's right.
So with that, I leave you. If you're gonna need to get a hold of me for anything that you're working on, or be part of the work that the governor's doing with Puerto Rico, you wanna march with us on Puerto Rican Day Parade, with pride, echando para adelante con Puerto Rico. If I don't have enough cards to give you whatever, Michelle you could, Michelle, get on my email. Okay, so.
Was Zenaida, because she's now the new president.
I had mentioned earlier how much Governor Cuomo was doing now with all of the programs that he's putting in place, and that he's at the forefront of any other government, throughout the United States in rebuilding Puerto Rico. So that's a fabulous thing.
Anna?
My name is Anna Condonell, and I've been in the broadcast business for about 35 years until I retired 8 years ago. So I'm a youngster. But I think that the greatest thing that I've done so far is my daughter and my son. But I do want to say that when I got to the broadcast industry, one of the most important things to do is to make sure that we highlighted our communities and communities. One of the very first things that I did was to start East Heritage Month, and this is where I had to meet so many wonderful women. As a matter of fact, when we started my show, it was people like Rose and Melina and the chefs of this world that helped to tell me what the issues were and stuff like that. Because being, I come from a battered home. There are a lot of issues that are important to me. Not one of them being trying to get out there, trying to get out, being battered, So when I got to the broadcast industry, it was sort of like learning, what was really important, and these people that come, these people in the community, that helped say, hey, this is what we have to do, especially in the Bronx. That's why I tried to because of the fact that I didn't really know what was going on. But we started that, and then the Puerto Rican Day Parade, I said, hey, it's happening. And so I got ABC I convinced ABC to sponsor the parade and the New York parade. 15 years later, I moved to NBC and I stole the parade from NBC to NBC. So we brought it there, and if I had gone to another network, I probably wouldn't try. But I left 8 years ago, and a lot of things have happened, since then. But I do want to say that you mentioned that NBC has a segment. They committed, and I was on the phone with musings for
They're the only ones
I'm sorry?
They're the only ones that have.
Oh, yeah, at 6 o'clock in the 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Right.
Right, and when I had spoken to them and told them what was going on, and I was going to get in contact in Puerto Rico, and Telemundo, was also vice president up there before I left. And so we got all our reporters to make sure that they committed to staying on the story as long as we could. And so we're the only station there. But NBC is the only station that has stayed consistent, covering these stories. I mean, you will see other stations do stories, but we have a minutes. But anyway, so I also served 10 years with Puerto Rico Youth Defense. I was on the board. We started classes to make sure that people were on borders. And after that, I left them because I joined Malden for a year, so that was the Mexican one. But and overall, what I'd like to say is that this community is not only the Puerto Rican community, but the Latino community, which I'd like to see us get, to coalesce a little bit more. I also believe, and the reason that I'm here, and people talk about the reason I'm here, is that I want to make sure that we're not just talking to ourselves.
Absolutely.
This is not just for the Puerto Rican, because in order for us to grow and to make a move and to do whatever we need the next step, we need to get other ears listening to our plight. As a matter of fact, one of the major speakers that we just spoke to us from the policy issue had said to me, for years I've been working on this, talking about what's going on in Puerto Rico, even before Maria, especially after Maria. And then my husband came to me the other day and said, a colleague of mine was talking to me about the Puerto Rican situation, how horrible it is. And she said, oh my God, it took another angle, like to come to tell my husband about what I've been telling you for years. And, you know, but she's absolutely right, and that's what I have noticed. So I offered myself to, I'm on the board of the Fair Media Council. I serve as an advisor to many corporations and the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, the National Association of Black Journalists, Asian Journalists, and Native Americans. And I am committing to being able to get these letters of endorsement that we need to our congresspeople and everybody else through these organizations who are non-Puerto Ricans, so that they can support us in this. That's it.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm Edwards, and I work with the Office of Mental Health as a colloquial social worker for over 30 years. Now I'm care coordinator with them. But on top of that, I've been the New York State Professional Employees Federation Hispanic Committee president statewide. I have to say, and just hearing the conversation, you know, having that mentor plays a major part in connecting with others. So, you know, just recently, one of my mentors who passed away suddenly last summer, Roxanne Rosario, was really instrumental in really connecting with PAF, connecting with others, but also Maria Roman has been my mentor as well. So I have to say, since becoming president, one of the things that I've noticed as part of the committee, you know, going through our constitution, we're supposed to be much more culturally connected. And one of the things I noticed, well, since the committee has started since 1987, we never got involved in Puerto Rican Day. So having attended the first Diaspora here in Hunter, it connected me with parade people, parade committee chairs, and we were able to participate. So now this is our third year participating in the Puerto Rico Day. But statewide, connecting everyone. I just, you know, I kind of feel bad because in the past year, due to health and surgery, I kind of, you know, fell out the loop. And I, you know, being here today, I would like for my committee, for our organization to help out in some kind of way. And so I would like to reach out, you know, how can we be a service?
Reach out. Reach out. And you know, don't feel bad, okay, because your personal life is extremely important. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else.
That's right.
So don't feel bad.
Senor?
Now, pa'lante.
Senor?
Good afternoon, ladies.
You are the big gorilla in the room. Go for it.
Hashtag not all men.
There you go. Perfect timing. I feel comfortable. You can't go anywhere now.
Wait, let's get.
Not a smoke signal for help.
Yes, so we want to hear what you have to say.
Our goal is to basically put out for low-income families, provide an after-school program, senior program, teen center program, for like everybody basically. I grew up in the east side of area in Charlotte. My interest is in construction. So me being here, I'm hearing about Puerto Rico a lot. My father's Puerto Rico, my mom, she came from Canada. So just to hear about what's going on in Puerto Rico, like I heard like they don't got no cellars.
Yeah.
But they got like some sort of electricity. I don't know how that's possible. Or maybe it's strong. That's so I want to figure out ways.
What type of construction are you interested in?
Construction management, actually. Overseeing.
Construction management, okay.
Making sure nobody
Okay. Pratt University is a good school, has a good program for construction management. They're in Brooklyn, and they also have here in the city. But it's Pratt Institute, great construction management course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Marie?
I can say one more thing.
Yes.
I like being in the workshop. I like to ladies empowering each other.
Oh, he's enjoying this.
Like this, like with the sisters, like,
Be the change, we will be the change.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessie Guzman. I attend Williamsburg Community College, and I have applied for the Olmo scholarship, the program that is.
Oh, NACOPRW scholarship?
Yeah, the program that is going to take CUNY and
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Very good.
The reason why I'm here is because I just wanted to get more information about the current situation in Puerto Rico. And it's very nice to see how you're all engaged in doing all your best to help the island. And I would love to be part of it.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Wait, can you speak a little bit louder? Because I'm old. I can't hear too well.
My name is
It's
Lisa
true.
John. I was born in New York. My parents are from Maya West, San Miguel.
Right.
So I've always felt, that saying like, you're Puerto Rican, and I'm like, well, not. All right. I'm actually a doctoral student at the CUNY Graduate Center.
Yes.
And CUNY adjunct at Brooklyn College, so all you CUNY folks, I love you. You're the people that in my class I like latch on to, but my field is medical anthropology, and my work has been on reproductive health in women in Puerto Rico and connected to disease, infectious disease.
Wow.
So I was investigating Zika virus and maternal outcomes in 2016 when the virus first hit, and now with the hurricane, as we all know, things have changed drastically for women, and many are migrating to the States to look for healthcare for themselves, their children, women who have children with, microcephaly or are pregnant with Zika and afraid. So my concerns now are shifting. I'm working on my dissertation, but I'm here because I really want to figure out, I feel like women are being lost that are coming from the island, and I want to know what is happening to them. Mental health is a big issue, their maternal health, their reproductive health. The women I met don't speak English very well, don't know how to get resources. Online doesn't work because if you're homeless, where are you accessing information? Right? So I'm here today because I want to be useful. I feel useless, right? So I want to help. And my focus, as I said, is more like women, their health, and their children's health, and how can I be of service in that way and make sure we're just not losing these women, right? Because a lot of them are ending up homeless, and that's a problem. And I love your comment that it's not just about saying here's this, and that'll help you for a short period of time, but how do we get these skills to become employed if they decide they want to stay here, or give them a certain set of skills to bring back home when we go, right? So make sure they have the option, because many are feeling like they want to go back, but that is no longer possible. So those are my concerns.
That's wonderful. You're on a big mission there. That's a wonderful thing.
So my name is Diane Casina, and me and Jessie are actually from the same school, from Williamsburg Community College. And I'm actually super happy to be here because we're both Colombian and we're not Puerto Rican. And
You're adopted.
No, the great part about it is that as soon as we got the emails for the program with Governor Cuomo to go to Puerto Rico, it was immediate applying. We applied, the essay, shot it out,
Oh,
didn't even think about
beautiful.
it. People thought we were Puerto Rican. I was like, you're not going Puerto Rican.
That's right.
But the main reason why I decided to do it is because I am a private tutor for pre-K to 6th grade for underprivileged children, immigrant children, children of parents who can barely afford to even send them to school. So basically, I feel like they deserve an education too, and anything I can do to help anyone out, honestly, and improve us as Latinas, other people, whoever, doesn't matter, I'll definitely.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Veronica Maldonado.
I work here at CUNY. I work at Macaulay Honors College. I'm the Director of Student Services, so I oversee lots of fun areas like career services, study abroad, scholarships, advisement, student affairs. Half of the college I oversee and have lots of fun. We're going, in addition to the CUNY program that's running, we're also running our own program for our students in Puerto Rico. So we're going to be leaving on June 11th, working with the San Juan Bay Estuary. And so Brenda Torres, who will be one of the moderators at the next panel at the plenary, we're working with her and her team there. We're going to be working on water quality and species census to make sure that the species are doing well, because that's a concern. So I'm here, some of our students are also here, not at this panel, but at different ones, just in preparation. I was born in New York, but I feel very connected to Puerto Rico because both my parents are from there and I spent lots of summers there. So my dad is from Yauco and my mom is from Atillo, which apparently everybody's so yeah, that's
Yeah, we know Brenda very well, and she was a NACOPRW member when she was here in New York. So when you go, tell her Michelle said hello.
Yeah, I know that we're running out of time, but one of the things I did want to ask was about membership and like what that would entail. Should we just go to the website? Because I know we're running out of time.
No, I'm going to.
You already introduced yourself?
No, not yet.
No, you introduced yourself. You already know me, right? Yeah. You introduce yourself and then let's go back to the.
Yeah, okay. And we'll, okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Cecilia Baez Raymond. I am a union carpenter for 13 years. I started out with a pre-apprenticeship program for non-traditional employment for women, so just all kinds of trades, trying to get into trade. And so now with the New York City District Council of Carpenters, and I'm now a correspondent secretary for the New York City and vicinity Latino Carpenters of America, which now we're not for profit. We just club one of the clubs carpenters. Now we're not for profit, and I got involved with the Hurricane Maria Puerto Rico Long-Term Recovery Leadership Forum. We've had already 3 meetings past 2 months. I am part of one of their working groups, which there's 4 of them. There's advocacy, there's New York City Advocacy Recovery, PR Recovery of Rebuilding, and outreach. So people that head the rebuilding process is 10 NYC, and they actually have a farm now, 2 acres of land, 1 acre is a farm, and they are providing services that are faith-based. So they're providing services as far as spirituality. They're trying to get into mental health and rebuilding and being a host site, so that we can, as far as like the carpenters or other tradespeople who want to go help volunteer, which we have. We've worked on Part 9/11, and we've done like trips with 10 people at a time, and now we're down to 5. But as far as 10 NYC, they want to become hosts, and since they have to farm, bring people to the community, harvest what they're growing there, which they're actually doing it in June 19th to the 26th. They're inviting their community to harvest, learn how to take the seeds and then replant them where they live so that they can be more sustainable. And just to give you a little idea of the different organizations that are involved with this forum, we have the New York Disaster Interface Services, the Salvation Army, New York City Presbytery, to NYC, Union Theological Seminary, Why Not Care, New York Voluntary Organization Active in Disaster, which is OAC, and Community Emergency Response Team, which is CERT. New York City Department of Health, Puerto Rican Flanks Up, Centro for Puerto Rican Studies, Diaspora Puerto Rico, and Chefs de sorry, Stronger than Maria and Hernandez. So that's just like some of the organizations. We're trying to network with more people like you all here, because even though we're in different working groups, a lot of people are like kind of like we have the Department of Health, but there's other people who are into the health and mental health departments, education, rebuilding. So it's just like we like to just get all the resources that are available and network with each other and see like get services in every level. And if you already have a contact over there, what's going on over there? How can we help? If there's somebody that you know, maybe can provide more services over there.
Thank
So
you.
basically, we're just trying to network, and it's still in the beginning stages, but we want to move it along so that we are able to get more help out there in a faster manner.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, you know what, one of the things that I'd like to do at this point is, if you're interested in knowing more about NACOPRW, I would love for you to come up and at least write your name and email address, and we'll send you information. One of the goals that we're going to be working on moving forward is to collaborate with CUNY. Currently talking to some of the board members in CUNY so that we can start some series within the CUNY administration for Latinas and anybody else who may want to be a part of the NACOPRW organization and be able to do more. We're going to be escalating. We have a powerful team here, and we will be escalating to ensure that the goals and our mission are going to be enforced aggressively. So, I mean, I'd like to close it down. If possible, we've run out of time. If you want to say anything else, but I truly would like to see each and every one of you either get in touch with myself or Maria Roman with respect to joining our organization.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations on the new job, Madam.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, we are going to next year do our national conference in Puerto Rico, in case anybody would like to join us. It will be the third weekend of November. And if you give us your email, name, and contact information, we definitely will put you on our email. We'll send you the information because it's being worked on right now. But we will be holding the conference next year, next November 2019. Yes.
I just wanted to inform everybody, in case you don't know, on Facebook, the Facebook page for Centro for Puerto Rican Studies, if you look on their page, they have now Facebook attaches group pages. So they have a list of different groups. So like if you're into education or health or rebuilding or the arts, they have a group for each thing, and it's not being utilized. So I'd like to see more people like get involved with that, because I think that could help us if we're in there. It's just a matter of using it. So it's just a matter of I think some of them have 3, some of them 7, some of them 11. It's not, and there's nothing going on. So I'd like to see if we can use that as a platform to communicate to each other. And if you have any events coming up, it would be nice to share it at least there, and then we could share it other places.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's very important. We just had a fundraiser for Young Ball that Puerto Rican Flags Up was hosting, and so they raised some funds for that town so that they can do more for that town.
There is tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not able to attend because I'm going somewhere else. But there is, if you're into classical music, it's an organization called Música de Cámara. And it was the creator, the founder is Eva de la O, a Puerto Rican woman who is a renowned classical. You have to hear her sing. She is just phenomenal. And this evening at the on Fifth Avenue, and usually she has the performances at El Museo del Barrio. But because they're doing renovations within the theater, she is having the performance done this evening at Cardinal Terrence Cook. They have a theater there, or a hall there, that they're going to have the performance. And it's only $10. And if anyone is really interested, she has these great performances every other month or every third month or so. So, in fact, I think I have the information, but I encourage you to go. You'll really enjoy it. And it's not often that, it's like going to the Met and listening to great opera, or, the symphony. Tonight is symphony. And so I encourage you, if you're able to go. I think it's at 7 o'clock. But anything else? Anyone else?
Can you repeat the name and the location?
Música de Cámara. I believe I have a flyer.
Anyone has any questions, you can just reach out to us, because I think on time, I think the second plenary is starting in a few minutes. DC people, I love to talk to you.